Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with a Saturday morning sun pumped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched Fillmore!
Oh yeah, it's got that exclamation point. You gotta scream at it.
Well, you gotta scream it because that's what his junior commissioner does all the time. Like, that's where the name came from, I assume.
He's very upset all the time because Fillmore's always breaking his stuff. Or at least, like, inadvertently causing things of his to break.
Yeah, in the episodes we saw, and or costing the school hundreds of dollars based on the damages that he's causing, but also solving the crime. So it's like,
I mean,
can't get rid of him.
If we're being honest, though, I mean, if you look back and think about the kind of things you did in school, I mean, like, look back at what I was like in school, too, and I'm like, how do you not cost the school hundreds of dollars in damages?
I think most schools just don't care, or they won't repair things. So it's just like, well, right. I guess this is just how the toilets are now.
Yeah, they're now broken in half with like jagged pieces sticking up in the air, but we just don't have the budget.
Yeah, just put a cone there with the caution sign.
Yeah,
you're good.
So Fillmore was suggested by Mark, Mason 385, K0FI96, and Rochelle. So thank you, everyone, for suggesting this one to us. This is the most suggested one we've had, and I know people have been hoping we'd get to it soon, and it finally happened, so you're welcome.
That's like a legion of suggestions.
A legion, exactly. 4.
I don't know what forms a legion, now that I think about it.
I think 4.
I assume it's more than 4, but
nah.
it could be 4. I'm going to say 4.
Well, 4 people suggested, but as far as like how many people voted up in the poll, it was 684.
Oh, that's definitely a legion.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I guess that would be a
684.
684 votes for this cartoon. So there we go.
Nice. Yeah. If you're like me, you hadn't seen it before either, right?
I had not. No, I really didn't know anything about it. I mean, my first exposure to it was Rochelle kind of explaining why she likes it. And that's all I knew going in.
Fillmore aired from 2002 to 2004, which is like right when we were transitioning from juniors to seniors. So maybe was just an awkward time for us to be watching it, I guess.
Right.
Maybe it just wasn't our demographic at the time because it is based in a middle school.
Yes.
It was created by Scott M. Gimple, produced by Walt Disney Television Animation, ran for 2 seasons, 26 episodes on ABC from 2002 to 2004, on the Disney Channel in 2003, and on Toon Disney in 2004. For a short synopsis written by Joe Cassidy, former delinquent now fights for the good guys at X middle school.
I mean, yeah, I guess that applies. I'm a little disappointed in that we didn't get to see a lot of the former delinquency, or any of it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, that's actually something I'm going to talk about in the Marshmallows a little bit. But first, before I do that, who are some of the actors who played in the show?
So Cornelius Fillmore was voiced by Orlando Brown, who was also the voice of the role of Eddie Thomas in the classic show. And I know this was a favorite of yours, Joseph. That's So Raven.
Of course.
Ingrid Third was voiced by Tara Strong. Doesn't really need much introduction if you have been a longtime listener of our show. I talk about her quite a few episodes, I'd say half or more. The announcer, this is fun. The announcer was Don LaFontaine, and he is the In a World guy that he has done like 5,000 like movie trailers and commercials and stuff like that. So you've heard his voice. He is that default voice that you think of when you think of like a movie trailer or something like that. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Perfect for the role he played in this too, which was like the announcer at the start of the episode, but also every interstitial where he's like part 1, part 2, part 3, and it's every episode. It's great.
In a world where middle school has a CSI crime division.
And now, Fillmore. Today's episode, To Mar a Stall. Act one. Flushed innocence.
Junior Commissioner Vallejo was voiced by Horatio Sands, mostly known for Saturday Night Live. And that's pretty much the main cast. There's not a huge group of main characters. There are the main characters, and then there is a ton of supporting characters that I really liked.
The ones you really need to pay attention to are Fillmore and Ingrid.
Yes.
Because they are really the bread and butter of the whole show. So for Future Tasty Marshmallows out of our big bowl of Fillmore cereal, during the opening credits, we see a glimpse of Fillmore's permanent record, which shows him classified as a delinquent. The past offenses listed for him are chalk boosting, locker rigging, comic book poker ring, class cutting, milk counterfeiting, non-dairy creamer, and back talkery. So Even though we don't necessarily get to see like these happening, we do get like a description of kind of some of his past delinquencies.
Yeah.
We kind of go into that in some episodes too.
The creamery thing. Oof, that's a hard one right there.
That's rough. All the main characters' last names are street names in San Francisco. So the reason they have kind of weird last names, like, Third.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so they're just streets in San Fran. So I guess that's just where the creator's from. Not sure.
I was wondering about that because, I didn't understand Ingrid's last name, but okay, now we've got some context. It still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at least we know why.
So also, this was the final series produced by Walt Disney Television Animation for ABC before producing shows exclusively with Disney Channel. And I'm not sure if this is like purely for Disney or not, but this was the final Saturday morning cartoon. And that's a bold claim. So I don't know if it was just Disney's last Saturday morning cartoon or the last Saturday morning cartoon. I'm not sure when those actually stopped.
Have cartoons never been aired on a Saturday ever since?
Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons, they don't exist anymore.
Been gone for years.
Streaming
you just
and
didn't know.
Around.
Yeah,
I heard about it actually. Like that Saturday morning cartoons aren't a thing anymore.
That's weird. That's weird to me. Maybe we need to change our show? Do we need to review?
It's just
brunch
Cartoon Boom
cartoons.
now.
Like, what do we do here?
Reasonable Hour Cartoon Boom.
I like that, Reasonable Hour. That's perfect.
So we already talked about how we had never really heard of it before. So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we're out for today's show. The very first episode, highest rated episode, and finally Random Listener Chosen episode. Actually, we did it differently this time because it got so many suggestions and so many episodes suggested that 2 of the episodes we watched were listener suggestions.
Yes, they were.
Suggestions. Yeah.
Gestures. I don't know.
Yeah. So the first episode we watched is To Mar a Stall, season 1, episode 1, where when X Middle School takes delivery of a brand new set of bathroom fittings, a graffiti artist going by the moniker Stainless strikes. They get new bathroom stalls, and this person, this unknown assailant, Stainless, tags his name all over these stalls.
Fillmore and Third must have been the cross street where the dude grew up.
Dude, I was thinking that exact thing earlier today. I didn't bother looking it up, but that would totally make sense.
As soon as you just said Fillmore and Third, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. That's got to be it. Okay. Yeah. I was very quickly entertained by this first episode because of just how much it plays into that CSI kind of stereotype for like it just the most absurd things. This is a middle school that has like this they're called like was it safety officers, or they're part of the safety club or something?
The safety patrol.
Safety patrol. So they're basically like hall monitors, but they are like hall monitors that are more like crime investigation teams. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, we see all these what are supposed to be new toilet stalls just completely covered in red marker, permanent marker, and it says Stainless. And there's this girl, her name's Robin Spencer, who was kind of like, I don't know if she was supposed to be like the class president or something, and she was just really like kind of taking credit for like, yes, we got these new things, these new stalls, and everything's going to be great. And then she's like kind of showing people the new stalls, and then that's when everybody finds that they've been vandalized. So that's when Fillmore and Third and their team get called in to investigate and find the culprit.
And the first thing really that Fillmore does is take them to this kid who was like the best artist in school, or I guess the best like macaroni artist in school. And he was gaining some fame or gaining some fans from that, I guess, quote unquote. A lot of this is quote unquote because it's like middle school equivalent of fans and a following and whatever. He was getting first place in his contest, started getting like second place, third place, honorable mentions. And so he started getting kind of corrupted by this and needed more attention, needed more fame. So that's when he became a tagger by the name of Flava Sava. And he was essentially just like using his artistic skills to just tag things all over the school. But they play him basically like an equivalent to Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs.
He even kind of spoke like him, which I loved. And that this is my favorite part of everything we watched was this portion of this episode where they're like meeting him. He's in that room with no furniture or anything in it. He's just got those TVs. And he's completely isolated in what is basically permanent detention, watches all of his classes and stuff via television. They're not allowed to bring any kind of writing utensils or anything inside. It's great. And they play him off like, like, of course, he's a genius. He can easily get into the mind of whoever's doing the tagging because he himself is a master tagger. It's just that whole thing. And like they're trying to get his help to catch Stainless, and he's toying with them. He's like, oh yeah, I know who it is. Figured it out really quickly, but he's like this. It's kind of like a game for him, and he wants to see if they figure it out. He's like, come back to me when you figure it out for yourself.
Was giving them like small hints. Like, what was the first one?
The first hint was that
culprit wrote backwards, or they were left-handed.
The letters are written backwards.
That's what it was. Yeah, they're written backwards. And then he's like, and the rest, no, that's too easy. Like, let me know when you figure it out and come back to me.
It made me think, and it was actually kind of smart the way they played this, because it was like, okay, well, he writes backwards. This was Fillmore kind of piecing it out. I don't remember if it was Fillmore third, but they're talking about, and they're like, this person writes backwards. It's got to be because they're left-handed, because if they wrote from right to left with their left hand, I guess left-handed people are more prone to smearing their palm.
Well, yeah, because their palms are rubbing across the words they're writing. So it was third who figured it out because I think the commissioner, junior commissioner or somebody had said smeared. And so that kind of clued her in on the word smeared had kind of like clued her in on it. Then she started showing Fillmore as she was writing it left-handed, how it was smearing. Yeah. And he's like, okay, so they're left-handed. But then he was like, well, that narrows it down a little bit. But there's 15% of the school is left-handed. So it's like, what do we do?
That seems like a really large grouping of people that are left-handed because, like, I don't know a lot of left-handed people. Like, I've maybe met 10 in my entire life.
I don't know if I know anybody. Is Jim left-handed?
I don't think so.
I don't think I know anybody.
It's weird to me. So, yeah, they end up kind of interviewing a lot of people, scoping a lot of people out, just kind of following them around. I love the one kid, Frankie, that they are like, oh, here he goes. Like, this kid goes into the women's restroom with a pen or pencil or marker or something. But it's just because he's in love with how toilets look and he wants to sketch them. And they're like,
that's right, yeah. There's really funny. There's the other kid who just wanted attention. He was an artist also, and he wasn't getting any attention, so he kind of took the fall for it and was trying to blame it on himself just so he could get some recognition. Or he's the guy who was just like, know what I mean? Or know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he kept saying that over and over again. Fillmore, who was like, no, this seems too easy. Like, I don't think it's this guy. Like, he's not good for this. So everybody else had been like, yay, case closed, whatever. But Fillmore was questioning it as he does. And so that's what kind of led them down a different path. And I'm trying to remember how they got to the actual culprit. I think, oh, you know what? It was they visited Randall one more time, Randall Julian, the Hannibal guy. And he just gave them a newspaper and was like, here, I'll leave you with this. Or no, he escaped.
Yes,
and he left them a newspaper and that was it. But on the newspaper, it had Robin Spencer, the girl who cut the ribbon. Like, she was cutting the ribbon with her left hand, and it was a gloved hand. And something they had mentioned earlier was that if they were writing with this permanent marker and smearing it with their left hand, they would still have a red mark on their hand.
Yes.
So that's what they were looking for. And so since she was gloved, since she was left-handed, she was an obvious culprit for it because what she had wanted was brushed stainless steel stalls, and they went with the cheaper porcelain instead. So she was upset trying to get these stalls replaced again with brushed steel so that she could basically have her way by vandalizing this equipment.
Yeah, so she vandalized the equipment to kind of force the school's hand to buy the nicer stuff. I did like, there's a few things I really enjoyed about this. You know, almost any scene with Vallejo involved was really funny.
Yeah.
He was talking about how much he loves his fishing pole he just got so he could go fishing. He brings it up throughout the whole episode, and at the very end it gets snapped in half. What's funny too is Vallejo is like the one character that does not sound like a kid. I mean, he's the same size as the kids, but he looks and sounds like just some adult from Brooklyn, like, you know, some Brooklyn beat cop. And I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
But Randall Julian, who was the guy giving the hints, did escape. But Fillmore knows Randall too well now, and he was the one that originally caught him in the first place. So he is waiting for Randall in this new bathroom. And Randall's got that red marker, and he's so close to making a mark on it, and Fillmore's like, "You won't do it," and his hand's like shaking and stuff, and he doesn't do it, and then they start talking about making some macaroni art.
Yeah, he was saying like, "You're better than this. Like, get back to your real art. You don't need to hurt all the people because of a few of the people," or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote that he used, but it was like the end of every episode is very inspirational, and it really kind of makes you think. Just the pacing of this first episode really got me kind of into it. It's a formula that they repeat pretty much throughout, at least in the 3 episodes we watched, but it's a unique sort of event each time, but the culprit always seems fairly obvious. Like, you kind of know who it is from the beginning, but the real adventure is, I wonder how they're going to get there.
Yeah.
Even though you know who it is, it doesn't ruin it.
Oh, and that's almost like any procedural show seems to be like that. Like, I forgot there's some sort of rule where it's like, and I'm sure that this has been debunked, but I just remember there being something like, whatever number this person is that appears on screen, that's always the bad guy every time.
Oh,
so whether it's like, you know, it's the third or the seventh person that appears in that episode, it's like that always ends up being the one. And I think that, you know, I'm sure that that's not always the case, and that's probably super overly exaggerated, but I feel like it's probably just coincidentally happened enough because there is a formula where you sort of introduce that culprit in a certain part of the story. So it probably would line up that, you know, they probably do get introduced around the same time each episode. So yeah, it's kind of a joke there, and this definitely fits it too.
Yeah, because it kind of seems like it's the least obvious. Well, no, it's the most obvious, least likely person.
Yes.
Is what it always is. It's like the person who was kind of slighted in passing, not like the main one who you might initially think it is, but somebody who in just a side comment says something like, "Oh, it really bugs me when this has happened." And it's like a throwaway line, but it's like, okay, that's the person who did it then.
Yep.
So the second episode we watched for today's show was Ingrid 3rd, Public Enemy number 1, season 1, episode 8. And this was one suggested by Mark, correct?
Correct.
In this one, Fillmore writes a letter to his former partner, now living in Tennessee, about his current partner, Ingrid 3rd, and how she was almost instantly expelled from X middle school before joining the safety patrol.
Yeah, this was interesting. So we got to see like her first day there at the school, which was cool, and learning a little bit more about Fillmore too, because he had a buddy named Wayne that had just moved away at kind of the beginning of this episode. And then Ingrid's moving in, and we know that that's going to become his new partner, whereas Wayne was supposed to be his partner until he moved to a new school. One thing I thought was really funny was like they did like this assembly and they introduced Ingrid as the new kid, and the principal's like, well, everybody's mean to the new kid, so we do this thing here to try to get it out of everybody's system by throwing foam balls at you. So just all the kids just start nailing her with these foam balls, and that was funny.
For like 2 minutes.
Yeah, she says something there that kind of comes back to bite her later, which is the school stinks. And I thought that was just
Yeah.
a throwaway line, but that it actually did have something to do with the rest of the episode.
Well, it's kind of smart to of the actual culprit for using that line against her, but we'll get there. So Fillmore's after his partner leaves, after Wayne leaves, Vallejo tries to assign him a new partner. He does assign him a new partner, and what is it? It's not Parnassus. It's something like that, though.
It's Parnassus is the last name.
Is it really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, Brad Parnassus, I think it is. And
Yeah,
so
you're right.
he assigns that to him. And Brad Parnassus is like the smartest kid in school up to this point. And he also has like some like bigger, like
He has
thug
a
like
goon.
foreign kid with him. A
Yeah.
goon. He has a goon. Yeah. His Achete.
I think the goon's name is Bud, I think.
Yeah, that sure. He doesn't really speak or anything, so he's just kind of hanging around him. He's his bodyguard. He's his goon. Then we find out that as Ingrid comes in, someone mentions again in passing that she's the new smartest kid in school, or that she's the smartest kid in school, also because she has a photographic memory and stuff. And so the setup is he's got his new partner, and after that whole event that you were talking about, where she was like, "This school stinks," after she got pelted with those foam balls. Someone sets off a stink bomb, I think the next morning or that afternoon or something. And it like is a huge one that goes throughout the whole school. So then the two obvious culprit is Ingrid. And so it's like getting to the bottom of who actually did it.
Yeah, because they bring that up. They're like, she said this school stinks, and then boom. So they're kind of using that against her, and really it's more Parnassus kind of using it against her because Fillmore's just not really 100% convinced. And what was really weird was in trying to clear her name, he knows her route when she walks to school, and this is weird. He partners up with like an actual police officer or something that has access to the video camera on this ATM machine. And they are playing back the footage and he's like, the timing doesn't line up of when it went off and when she was walking to school. So it couldn't be her. But then again, like the last episode, she just goes ahead and admits that it was her, just kind of taking the rap for it, even though it wasn't her. But that's because she hates the school and she wants to get expelled so she can go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And Fillmore's still like, no, like I literally know you didn't do it because I see you here on the camera. I've got the shot.
Yeah.
And he's like, why are you trying to get out? And she's just like I don't like this school. I just want to get expelled so I can go to a boarding school or something. I just want out of here. And so she's trying to take the easy way out. And because Fillmore is actually working for her and trying to save her name, that is what convinces her. She's like, all right, well, I told myself if someone was nice to me by 2 p.m. today or whatever, then I would give it a chance.
That's
and
so sad.
Here you are. And here he is being nice to her and trying to stand up for her. So yeah, she goes along with it. Still a little bit like not too sure she wants to stay there, but she's willing to give it a chance.
Right.
Because Fillmore is being good to her.
Two things I learned about Ingrid in this episode that I enjoyed. One is she has a voodoo doll of Parnassus at home because she hates him, and that's funny.
That's right.
Two, she apparently has an eggplant that looks like Fred Durst from everyone's favorite band, Limp Bizkit. I was like, what? She said that line, and I was like, what the heck? What is this? But she was seen purchasing stink powder from this joke shop. And even when like Fillmore goes and investigates it like himself, he sees her walk in and run out and stuff. And so then he's kind of upset. Like, no, it really was you.
Well, it's the wording of it, though. They never said they saw her. They
described her. Yes.
A girl dressed like her.
Yes. Yeah. Same hair, things like that. Well, that's how they eventually, they're at the school and they run into, when they're together, this other girl, which is not a girl, it is Parnassus dressed up as Ingrid, with a big bag of stink powder, and they do a little chase. They go through a sweet tire fort, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Sets the stink off, but Bud gets stuck in one of the tires, and Ingrid's trying to pull him out, but Bud actually ends up saving Ingrid from it. So that was kind of like a nice little thing that happened. But then when they're like, okay, we're going to go turn Parnassus in, Parnassus has already beat them to the principal and has Bud, his doofus goon friend, saying it was him, which is so crappy.
I really felt bad, and I was hoping that they would actually take Fillmore's evidence and use
but they
it.
don't.
But no, so Principal Folsom, she's just like, no, because Brad Parnassus is he's an A honor roll student. He gets the staff fruit baskets with the best chocolate.
Belgian chocolates, and he's a member of the Honesty is Fun Club. So it couldn't be him. He can't be lying.
Couldn't be him.
Poor Bud takes the fall.
We get a closing statement from Parnassus as he's exiting he comes to turn in his resignation to the safety patrol, and then he's talking to Fillmore. He's like, basically, you've made an enemy today, and I'll be back. You can't stop me. You are a worthy adversary. And Fillmore actually is like, yeah, I hate to admit it, but you were a worthy adversary too. Yeah. And so they become arch enemies right there. So I thought that was a really cool kind of way to launch that off.
That was
I still
good.
felt bad for Bud, though.
I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Ingrid, third, ends up joining the safety patrol. And even though Fillmore was against having a partner before, he brings her under his wing as another prior delinquent student, just like Wayne did for him originally. So it was kind of a sweet, full circle, pay it forward situation. So the third episode we watched for today's show was Two Wheels, Full Throttle, No Brakes. Season 1, episode 11. This was chosen by Mason.
Yes.
So X-Middle School is plagued by a spate of scooter thefts. Spate's a weird word. Is that a word? Spate?
Spate? I'm sure. It probably is.
Okay.
It's just one we've never been introduced to till now.
Not having watched crime dramas really much in the past. So maybe it's a crime drama
That's
word.
why.
A spate of scooter thefts, a murder of scooter thefts. An ambitious students council member, Derek Minna, sets up a vigilante force to stop them. Meanwhile, Fillmore and Third go undercover with the scooter thieves to try to uncover the mastermind behind the thefts.
I would say this was the one that it was the most obvious that Derek was the guy immediately. The very first time they showed him, I'm like, well, that's the guy.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's it became really formulaic. It was always pretty formulaic. But after the first episode, you could pretty much tell who it is every other time because you're oh. And it's like we were talking about. It's usually the most obvious non-culprit that ends up being the culprit.
Yes.
And Derek Minna he just comes in with a bad personality and just very full of himself. Always refers to himself in the third person, Derek Minna. We actually open up with Fillmore and Third kind of going undercover immediately to befriend this scooter theft group. I liked the way that they kind of tried to implement themselves into the group like that. That was pretty cool.
They were going undercover by Fillmore helping the thieves basically steal a scooter in broad daylight and stuff. And because I guess, it's been going on for a while and they have no leads on it. So they're like, okay, we got to get in this and find out what's going on. And so that's when somebody thanks him and says to meet them in the metal shop where they hang out. And he's wearing a disguise at this point. By disguise, I mean he's wearing fake cornrows and sunglasses.
Yeah, that's his disguise.
And
just like Third's disguise was just her wearing a wig.
Just a wig.
And it's I guess these kids just don't pay attention to the faces of their fellow students because they had no idea.
So they go in there in disguise to the metal shop and they meet these kids that I guess it's a metal shop club or something that they're part of. But the whole club is who is stealing the scooters. And we don't know really why exactly, but they do make a point really quickly to point out that they don't want the teacher of the metal shop to find out because they really do love him because I guess they were all troubled and this guy really turned their lives around, this teacher or whatever. So, which even though they're back to stealing and stuff again. So it's kind of did he really turn it around if this is what you're doing? But
yes, but that's one thing I really liked about this episode was the sort of It was predictable a little bit, but it was a nice twist towards the end with the reason why they were stealing.
Yeah. And I love the dog with the little wheels. There's a
Oh,
little
yeah,
dog who's
Ebenezer.
got hip dysplasia. And so he's got one of those things, like every once in a while you'll see a video on Facebook make the rounds, and it's a dog with, like a little back hindquarters rig made of Legos or something with wheels on it so they can still walk around. So that's what's going on with this doggy. He's got hip dysplasia, so he's got like a tiny dog wheelchair thing. That was fun. That dog was cute. So the code or the names that they assume going into this. So Ingrid goes by the name Fingers, and then Fillmore goes by the name Cochise. What? What does that mean?
This whole thing is just a parody of those like 70s cop drama things.
Yep.
And those are probably names almost pulled directly from that because it sounds like it would be.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how much they play this up to almost being like Grand Theft Auto kind of stuff, like stealing the cars or something. But in this case, it's scooters. Like, so like Fillmore and Ingrid have to act the part to really get behind. I mean, they know that this group is the one stealing, but there's somebody behind it because they get their orders from this guy called Stingray, and that's who tells them what to do. So they have to really play the part so they can try to figure out who Stingray is. And then I love the one where like Fillmore is goes to nab that scooter from this kid that's going into like looks like a science lab or something. But the kid comes back out and you can hear him talking about to someone in the background why he's coming back out. And he's like, "Oh, I forgot my yo-yo."
Oh, yeah. It's like, "Oh, well, I forgot my yo-yo. I'll be right back." And he's like, "Hey, he's stealing my scooter." Derek Minna, he kind of questions the effectiveness, or at least puts forward that the effectiveness of the safety patrol is like they're not helping these scooter thefts. And so he forms his own group of wheeled activists, which is Boys and Girls Against Scooter Theft, or Be Aghast. And it's basically like skateboarders, rollerbladers, scooter kids, and even a wheelchair kid in there. Just everybody on wheels to help try to stop these culprits. And so it's him again, like further planting these seeds to make it seem like he's not the culprit.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm just immediately like, dude, I know it's you. Like, I know you're just trying to like conceal all of this.
Well, I mean, they gave him that two-faced, like, I'm the actual bad guy personality archetype right away. So yeah, it was very obvious it was him.
Yeah.
I like how serious it got with with Fillmore and Ingrid meeting with the principal and the vice principal. Like, they couldn't just talk in a room. They had to row like this little boat out into the middle of a lake.
Yeah.
Like, to have a conversation to make sure no one was listening. That was so ridiculous.
And I love how the vice principal is getting like seasick. Like and the principal keeps saying things like
bringing up food and
basically
stuff.
like talking about like gross foods and stuff, or just things that would resemble vomit. And
Yeah,
so
he's
it's just
like,
like turning his stomach. Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah. The group ended up getting a cassette tape message from Stingray telling them to steal 100 scooters. And these are very specific scooters. It's not like get 100 scooters. It's like each scooter on that list is very specific. And Fillmore had to kind of meet with them and tell them what's going on. And like, hey, I think we're going to be able to nab Stingray. Once we get these scooters, the plan is to nab Stingray at the drop-off where Stingray is going to give them money. He's going to take the scooters. We'll nab him then, and then we'll have him, and we'll give the scooters all back to everyone that they got stolen from. So that's basically the plan. But I think at some point it's like the principal and them see Fillmore like in action and stuff, like stealing the stuff, and they think he's gone too far. They like turn on the safety patrol, and especially with the help of Derek, who's just like, obviously, the safety patrol doesn't know what they're doing. They're involved in stealing the stuff, just makes this big hubbub about it. And it really kind of tarnishes the safety patrol's entire reputation there.
Yeah, and one of the goals of the principal that she keeps stating is she wants to shut down the metal shop.
Yes.
Or at least like put those kids in like permanent detention or something, and also to shut down safety patrol. So Be Aghast is going to be taking its place. So Derek Minna has planted these seeds and made everyone like doubt the safety patrol. in stealing those 100 scooters, like we see a small montage of it, and there's some pretty fun gags in there. And what ends up happening is, so they are at the setup, like the scooters are all there. Or first of all, like it was kind of a weird side thing. One of the scooters is not like the authentic scooter that it needs to be.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a filler portion of the episode because it really didn't have much purpose to it. And so they had to go and get this scooter, like dig up this time capsule that had this original scooter that he wanted from it. They got that, and I guess maybe that was just used against them in a way where they were like, "Oh, you've gone too far. You're digging up the time capsule. Like, why are you defacing public property, whatever?" So maybe that was part of the drive to shut down Safety Patrol. Once they're in the room and they have the scooters and they're waiting for Stingray to come and get them so they can nab him, Be Aghast comes in and bust all of them, including Fillmore and Third. Again, all set up by Derek Mena so that he could come in, take everything, and what he eventually says is sell it to Russia or give it to Russia because they don't get those kind of things.
Yeah.
And get money from it, I guess.
It's just so funny, especially when you think about like for anyone that's kind of like up to date on current politics and things like that. Just thinking about the idea of that this kid is pulling this caper to sell things to a foreign country, and just you know it's to kids that it's like, oh well, scooters are too expensive over there, so I'll get them these scooters at a smaller price, but I'm making profit from it, 100% profit. But just the idea that it's another country and stuff like that just makes it even funnier to me, because it's just like it's so playing up that bigger crime wave, adult crime kind of ideal, but on the small little kid scale.
Yeah. So what finally ends up happening is, so they have to go back to the room. The scooters are all gone. And I think it's Third or Fillmore, like checks on the chalkboard and finds some bits of, I can't remember, like cheese dust or something, basically like Cheeto dust.
Yes.
And Derek Mena had mentioned earlier in the episode that he loves those Cheetos or something. And so they were able to tie it back to him because for that reason. And that's when they finally confront him when he's giving a press conference. He runs. That's really, okay, that's part of the formula of the episodes is like there's always a chase. Like there's always a chase scene. So he traps him up on first a treetop, and then he jumps over to this roof, and then he gets kind of confronted by, oh, that's right, because he gets confronted by Ingrid, first of all, who's waiting at the door to the roof, and then the rest of the metal shop kids are kind of surrounding him so that he can't escape. And so that was just a really cool way to do that. But what ended up being the reason for them stealing in the first place, the metal shop kids, was to get Ebenezer's, the dog's hip dysplasia fixed, to give the metal shop teacher the money to fix Ebenezer's hips.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was a really sweet reasoning for it. Not the best way to go about it, but a really pure reasoning. What I really enjoyed, though, was that even at the end, after all this went down, like, yeah, the metal shop kids got punished, but the principal went surprisingly light on them from what she was threatening before. So Fillmore, and also Fillmore is talking to them and they're saying, the teacher, talked to us. We know that wasn't the best way to do it. But luckily someone, an anonymous donor, gave him the money he needed to get this surgery for the dog.
Yeah.
And then we see Fillmore at the end confronting the principal about it and saying, you're the only other one who knew about the surgery, so it had to be you. And she's denying. And he's like, all right, well, that, fine, keep your secrets or whatever. But gives her an apple and thanks her just for going easy on the metal shop kids, too.
And what's kind of cool because, the principal is always kind of like I don't want to say a jerk, but she's unpleasant most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Towards Fillmore, and she's very harsh and very negative a lot of the times in kind of a stupid way. Like she comes off as not very bright, but could be seen as maybe not quite an antagonist, but also just not really on Fillmore's side. But this is one where you kind of got a little glimpse into she's not just one dimensional, and I thought that was cool, given that perspective.
And I do want to mention, though, before we close out the episodes, that one thing Fillmore always says is disco. Like, instead of like bingo when he makes a discovery or something, he just
Disco.
keeps saying disco.
He's a huge fan of disco.
I guess. I mean,
I just found out this past week that apparently my parents used to be part of a disco dance troupe.
really?
Yeah, I did not know about that about them, and I don't know how to feel about it. It definitely has changed my view on everything. My whole life has been a lie, basically. So
Apparently, yeah. Who knew you came from disco royalty?
it's true.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to X Middle School to see if they've got what it takes to be part of the safety patrol, or the more likely event of being the villains of the week that the safety patrol has to foil, then see what they thought of the show, Fillmore.
Fillmore was actually pretty cool because he got to investigate people and capture the bad kids and even join the bad kids, which was awesome. Now I just hope that Ingrid will transfer to my school so she can be my partner. So I give this cartoon 4 bowls of Fred Durst eggplant cereal out of 5.
For a show that I came in knowing nothing about, I really did end up enjoying it. And while I personally don't watch many police crime drama procedurals, I'm familiar enough with the tropes to understand how fantastically this cartoon parodied them. The characters were all interesting in their own rights, but Fillmore and Ingrid III were the ones who really elevated the show for me with their fun banter and skillful sleuthing. While the crimes in this episode varied, the show followed a pretty specific formula and the culprits were somewhat predictable, but honestly, even knowing the destination didn't take away from the fun I had on the journey. And as if cracking cases wasn't already satisfying enough, the episode usually ended with a positive message or moral lesson of sorts, which was like the cherry on top of an already delicious cake. Overall, I'd give Fillmore 4.5 big bowls of disco cereal out of 5 and highly recommend you give it a shot.
So, one thing that we didn't really talk about, how did you feel about the animation?
Well, it's funny that you ask.
I say that because you mentioned something to me that was edited out. And now I'm like, no, let's talk about that. How did you feel about that?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so the animation, it wasn't my favorite, but it was like Mega, the one with the mechs, the big mech.
Megas XLR.
Megas XLR. Yeah, like I didn't care for the animation of that either, but it didn't make it not a good show. So
Okay.
it's like I was able to look past all of that. But yeah, the animation was just really basic and it was stylized, but not in the best way. But that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. No, I can see that. It's I didn't really have too much of a problem with the animation. Like some of it I enjoyed some of the character design. I mean, it wasn't my favorite either. But I did I like Fillmore's design mainly because like I like when characters wearing glasses. I like when their designs have it so the glasses are pretty much just very reflective all the time. Like it's just white and you can't see like their actual eyes and stuff like that. I really enjoy when cartoons do that for some reason.
Huh.
I've always just been drawn to that. And if I picture drawing a character with glasses in my head, I do the same thing. Like it would just be like white circles, you know?
Okay. I've never really thought about that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I like that style.
You do make a good point, though, because I think it was the character-specific designs that were kind of bothering me. Like, I was totally fine with Fillmore, but then I didn't necessarily like the way that Ingrid III was designed. Like, I feel like, there was just something about her design that wasn't working for me. And,
Yeah.
But again, I loved the junior commissioner's design. Like, he looked great. And so it was just like, I think that there were certain characters who looked really good, certain that were just felt kind of out of place in that world. And so that I think might be what was troubling me about it.
Yeah, I didn't care for Ingrid's design too much, to be honest. I'm actually looking at a photo of him now. And, I think one of the things is that some of the character designs, it looks like they could be plopped in and out of almost any cartoon of that era. So it's just like, a lot of it doesn't stand out. It's like the show doesn't have its own style necessarily. It looks so much like lots of other cartoons we could probably name.
Yeah.
And I don't think that really hurts it, but it didn't do it any favors.
Right. And I didn't really take away anything for that because again, I stopped noticing it after a while. Like it wasn't, a huge deal. It's just something I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
But overall, I would think, I really enjoyed the show. It was fun. As predictable as it was still kind of a fun adventure, like seeing how they ended up, like, it's like, yeah, Derek Minna, I know it's you, but how are they going to get to the point? Like, I don't know the whole mystery around it or whatever. And I kind of expected the, kids to be doing the metal shop thing for the dog surgery, but I liked hearing them talk about it and say it, because it also kind of puts this like a light toned, like positive music in the background when they're having serious discussions. And I thought that was really cool.
I was really impressed by the show right away with the just the amazing tongue-in-cheek way it kind of approached this this like parody of adult crime procedurals like CSI and stuff. And as I talked about before, like so many of the shows rely on these exact same formulas and tropes. So it was just hilarious seeing Fillmore's childhood version of that. Especially that first episode, which I think that nailed the tone of the show immediately. It was one of the stronger first episodes I've seen in a cartoon for a really long time, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I enjoyed the show overall. And, we did kind of get a mix between this kind of parody of adult crime shows, but also some reminders that they're kids and things like that. And that the kids do have some heart. So it's like, even like the bad guys, like if you considered the metal shop, like, I don't know if I'd call them bad guys. They're just kind of morally gray because they're doing bad stuff. They're committing crimes, but to them, they're doing it for what is a worthy cause, because they're like, my teacher and this dog that he cares so much about, they deserve to be happy, and they've done a lot for us. So we're going to do something we know is bad, but it's because this person's happiness is more important than our getting over being, doing something bad like crime or whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to pay him back for it in their own way.
I like that a lot.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching
Rugrats, submitted via YouTube by Brian Blake.
Oh my gosh, 5 out of 5. Spoiler alert.
Okay, we're already done. 5 out of 5. It's Rugrats. It's one of those ones that, like, somebody asked us not that long ago, and I don't remember if it was in Discord. I feel like it was in our Discord.
It was in
chat.
Discord, yeah.
Someone asked us what cartoons we're surprised we haven't covered yet, and I didn't think about this one, but this is definitely one of the ones that I'm surprised it's taken this long for us to get.
Seriously, like, I assumed we had done this one already.
You're like, we've done this, right?
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about X-Men Animated Series, too, until I thought about it. And I'm like, no, I don't think we have covered that yet.
Yeah. I think that was the one that we said was the one we were the most surprised was X-Men the Animated Series that we haven't gotten to yet. And we will. But yeah, this one is definitely also very surprising. And yeah, it's just, it seems like a no-brainer that we would have done this already. But
oh, gosh.
We haven't, and now we will.
So what 3 episodes are we going to watch? That's really the challenge, because there's so many good ones.
Yep.
Man. All right. Well, I guess we will see. Yeah. Awesome. Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.